Let's do this! And this is Super Vegito! Show me how tough you are by beating me!
Alright everyone, JB here, and we're back with another Dragon Ball Legends video here on the channel today. Now today, like I mentioned in my last video, I'm going to be going over a few teams that I personally think are pretty solid for the Gammas 1 and 2. Now, some of these teams, I'm going to probably have like maybe a different variation of characters you could put on the teams to show you guys. So obviously their two best teams right now will probably be Sagas from the movies and androids. So we're going to talk about all the teams that I personally think and some of the variations, right? But as always, if this video is helpful to you, consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel. It's very much appreciated. Now I have a few of these teams. I have them preset. Now first one we're looking at, we're going to obviously be looking at Sagas from the movies. First one I'm going to look at is running this team with Mr. Ultra Gogeta and alongside Pan. Now it's a little tricky because most of the teams for Sagas are strike orientated, but as far as the bench goes, right? So the bench, you can run this Broly. Broly deals both strike and blast, I believe so, yes. And then also Piccolo right here, the Power Awakening Piccolo, he also deals strike and blast. And Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, they're both just given to both defenses. So I feel like this is a solid setup in my opinion. Ultra Gogeta Blue is definitely, I would say he's still in top 10, but he's definitely dropped since he's been out the blue system. And you have Pan with the support, the disrupt with the reduced key, substitution count manipulation. It's a pretty solid team in my opinion. If you don't have Beast Gohan or the new Piccolo, Mr. Orange Piccolo. Now a few variations, right? Now this is the first one I was looking at. It's a solid setup. You want to have Gogeta in the leader slot because you want him to have that additional damage buff, right? It's that 30% and also to the key recovery. So second variation, obviously, I'm gonna say it's gonna be with Beast Gohan. Now with this setup that I try to do, I don't have, as you just need my Zenkais, I don't have them all fully grinded. But with Beast here, if you want to Zenkai buff them, you can take out either the movies Goku right here, and you can swap them out for a Zenkai buffer. It could be this Goku right here, or the blue GT Pan, if she's down here. Oh wait, yeah, that's why. But you can either swap it out for this Goku right here, like I was mentioning, or this Pan. Her Z ability isn't all that great though. It is only 24% to strike attack, so you can run it if you want to. But I was running that Goku just for the Zenkai buff for the Gammas. Now, like I said, it is changeable. Or you can swap out Piccolo as well. But I left them there because they're giving both strike and blast, and then also the Goku's giving double defense for strike and blast defense. Now Beast Gohan, this team, right? Beast, I feel like it's not like he's like super bad now. Like he's still very usable. You still see him in PvP. You're definitely gonna see him in PvP now because of the buff for movies, right? But also, right, if you don't have Beast or you just don't want to use Pan, there's also the other new characters options you can use, such thing as Orange Piccolo, the Gohan. If you don't want to use Pan, I still think Pan is a little bit better for support. Now I didn't pull Gohan. Well, no, I pulled Gohan, but I didn't pull Magenta or Orange Piccolo, so I only pulled the Gohan and this guy right here. Now both him and Magenta are support types. Now you can also throw this guy on the bench if you just want him for the buffs that he's giving it both the strike and blast attack, which is pretty good. He is a little bit similar to Pan in terms of support, but if you do have Pan, I do suggest using her if you're going to bring a support character. over Mr. Gohan here. Magenta is a pretty good unit if you want to bring him, bring a green unit if you don't have Piccolo. So, you know, the teams are definitely interchangeable with different units, right? But like I said, I don't have both of those guys, so I wouldn't be able to show you guys right here. But that is something to keep in mind, right? So Pan is definitely changeable if you have those characters. I wouldn't suggest taking out Beast if you're running Beast on this setup. Make sure to have the Gammas in leader slot. You know, depending on your setup, you want to have them in leader slot so they're getting all the buffs from everybody on the team. Now, another setup to look at, right? Obviously it's going to be Android, so I can find them. So my Android team is not that bad. It's pretty bad. So obviously with this setup, right, you will be running. You can either run the droids, right? You gotta run the droids, or you can run Mr. MVP 17. And the reason why I have DT 17 there is because, well, that guy, he's a really good unit in terms of tanking and disrupt with the Dragon Balls. So this guy right here. So you can swap this guy out if you don't want to use the droids. I have droids there just because, you know, this team is pretty blast based. Droids are pretty blast based in my opinion. Now if you have all the Zenkais for these guys, you can use this Android 18 to buff up the Gammas, and then you can use him if you want to buff up the droids if you're going to use the droids instead of MVP 17. And then him right here, he's giving blast as well. This team is pretty blast based, so you want your bench to be buffing up blast. You know, this guy right here, he's a support type, but he is pretty good with disrupting, right? Now MVP 17 is like I said, the droids haven't fallen off super bad, but they've definitely fallen off, so they're definitely in need of a new, maybe a plat or something, right? MVP 17 is still usable. He's still a great unit in my opinion. It's just droids has a lot of options you guys can use. So let me look real quick, because I don't main droids. I've never have. So you can see that from looking at my team. There are a few other Zenkai droids I've seen in PvP before. This red 21. Yeah, so you just see I don't use droids at all. Literally, they just sit there. I've seen her in PvP. She's a pretty solid option if you don't have the you know, the TAD droids. Pretty solid option. This Cell, I believe, has a Zenkai as well, so you can also bring him if you want to on the bench to buff up your Gammas. He gives max health. So health is pretty important in that terms of regardment, right? Now, like I said, I think this is the best blast based setup for droids. You know, you can have the 18 on the bench, or you can have the Cell like I mentioned. Also, you can have Android 13 here, and then you also got this guy right here. He's buffing up blast as well. Like I said, MVP 17 TAD droids, they're interchangeable, but I'd suggest if you have this 17 right here, keep him, because he's a very good defensive. If you build him pretty defensive, he's very good. And if you don't have, you know, MVP 17, or if you don't have the GT Android, like I mentioned, you can bring her as well. Interchangeable. She's still a solid unit in my opinion if you have her, you know, Zenkai 7 and pretty much maxed out, because I believe she's a free to play unit. I just never grinded the event, so I just left it at that, right? But I believe we have one more to talk about. These are just fun teams, right? So I had to do it, right? So Future is definitely another team. You know, Future has not dropped. You know, Future is consistently getting buffs. So this setup right here I have currently, I like this setup. You know, you can run them with the droids. Droids are getting Zenkai buff. Rose is getting no Zenkai buffs, you know, but he's getting all the buffs for his ultra ability, right? For all the future battle members. So, you know, if you don't have Ultra Rose, or if you do have Rose and you don't have the droids, another option would be the blue Zamasu, which I don't have him. So, you know, he's definitely dropped a little bit in value, right? But he's still usable, you know. But once he's done disrupting your key, you know, and his green card is pretty good in my opinion. But if you're not a counter it, then no, it's not, right? But this team is definitely, it's just a fun team. Throw him on Future, you throw him on Fusion Warrior if you guys want to. But I feel like Future is still in that regardment of top 5 teams right now that's running pretty much the meta. You know, they can compete. Rose is out the boost system, you know, but he's still pretty annoying to fight against. Now bench wise, right? Bench wise, you can throw Zenkai buffers on the bench, like I said. Now, if you don't have the droids, like I also mentioned, once again, another person you can throw on is either the Blue Zamasu, like I mentioned, or the Legends Limited Rose. If you build this guy pretty, I like to build him in between, like giving him a little bit of strike, but then give him some health and defensive buffs. He can tank pretty well depending on the stars you have him at as well. So you can bring this guy instead and then keep Zamasu on the bench. He'll definitely still be getting a Zenkai buff. You know, you can throw this guy literally with different equips. You know, it's crazy, right? You can give him something like that, or like I said, if you want to build him defensively, you can give him both of these equips, both these defensive equips, and then just give him something for a little bit of attack, right? But that's personally what I think. You know, as far as best options, it's a lot of teams you can throw them on, right? Because of the leader slot ability, but they're blast based. So that's why I had the droids instead of Goku Black, because a lot of teams they're strike orientated, especially like Fusion Warriors. What else? Right now I would say Regen, because now we got Orange Piccolo and Kid Buu, but I believe they're more strike orientated as well. So it's pretty difficult, right, to measure certain teams to put them on, especially they only have 2 tags, I believe, Sagas from the movies and androids. So they're also limited their equips. But I did make an equipment guide before this video, so you know, if you guys are confused about that, you can also check out that video as well. But they're a really solid unit. You know, they're very good in my opinion. I feel like they done their prep mode a little bit better than the Blue Boys, just a little bit better, but it's still similar in certain regards, right? But that's probably gonna be it. You know, there's, like I said, there's plenty of teams that I can sit here and say and just make for you guys to throw them on, like not their main teams, right? But I threw Future in here at the last minute because, well, it's just, Future is, like I said, it's a top 5 team. Fusion Warriors, they dropped a little bit, but Ultra Vegeta Blue's coming for part 3, so they're gonna get another buff, right? But yeah, it's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully this was helpful in some way for some of y'all that's trying to build certain teams with them, because a lot of teams are strike oriented, like I mentioned. So as always, everyone have a blessed day. It's your boy JB. I'm out.